Hi everyone, today we're going to be looking at gold. Not just any gold, Barrick Gold, right? I don't know why I have the all-time chart. Actually, I know why. It was because I was looking at it before the video started. So whenever I look at a company, first thing I like to do, right? I like to look at the 1 year chart, the 5 year, and then the all-time. Okay, so first thing that sticks out to me, I'm sure it sticks out to you too. If you bought in 1993, a little bit later, right? If you bought in 1993, you could be directly flat on share price, right? Now, clearly it's gone up from then. You would have doubled, and you would have halved, and then you would have gone up again, right? So, yeah, no, it's a lot more complicated than just that, but this sticks out to me, and it's not particularly positive, right? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad company or a bad buy personally, but 5 years been mad, but the 1 year's been great. So if you bought exactly a year ago, you would be doing quite well, and I'm sure a lot of people made that purchase. Maybe you're watching this video today. So now I like to look at PE and forward PE. So forward PE is 15, yeah. This 23 PE is misleading. It looks like they had a bad quarter one of this year, of which it seems like every quarter thereafter is going to be significantly better than that. So the PE is probably closer to the actual forward PE, so 16, 17. So it is, although the growth isn't necessarily there, it is a stock that is, significantly undervalued compared to the S&P 500. As the S&P 500, I believe the average PE is 27-ish right now, so high 20s. So you're getting this at nearly half the price of that. So that's a positive, right? Also, it pays a dividend, 2%. Now, that's not phenomenal, right? It's not phenomenal. CDs, you'll be getting a better rate from that, but you won't for too much longer. So rates are going to start falling, I believe, and we're going to see a more leveling out of that. Market cap of 35 billion. So this isn't a small company at all. It's a large company. It's not a ginormous company, but it's a large company. I like how Yahoo, sometimes their graphs glitch. There we go. Yeah, so I would assume you may know what Barrick Gold does, but they are basically a mining company, primarily gold and copper. But they also do other stuff in all these different countries. If you're interested, do the research in it. Schwab thinks they're going to do meh. Okay, let's dive into some risks and some positives. Some positives is they're pretty consistent, right? I mean, really consistent. I mean, it's literally level from, 3 decades ago, right? It has some highs and it definitely has some lows, but this is a company that is going to go fairly flat for a while. Now, it may jump up, and it probably is going to keep going up generally, but also the dividend is pretty stable too. It's just on the cusp of 2%, right? And I'm sure for many of these times, when it was in the 16s and the 15s and the 12s and the 14s, if you bought it at any of those times, it's probably significantly higher. It's closer to 2.5%, right? If you're getting it significantly cheaper. So also, it's a good diversification, pick, right? Like, as you can see, in 2020, they fell, but not really, where's 2008? Yeah, no, they shot up during 2008. So they have some sort of a hedge here against recessions. They actually hit lows in 2015 when things started doing well. So let's look at it compared to the price of gold itself. This is not easy. Let's just go to goldprice.org one day. You're going to give me that 30 years, dog. Yeah. So gold, it looks like gold has, I'm fine. 1994. So gold has outpriced it, but you can see the jump 2009, 2010, right? So it does have some correlation with gold. You will see jumps in price there, but it doesn't match gold, and actually hasn't matched as well. But you have to factor in the dividend. If you factor in the dividend over these 90 years, right, it probably makes up for it. So if you don't own a lot of gold, I own no precious metals, almost no mining. I own a steel company. So I'm looking for diversification. Now, is this the stock I would diversify for precious metals? I'm not convinced. I need to do more research. I need to look at some more companies. I need to look at some more stuff like that. I might be doing some of these in videos. We can do it together, but I'm not convinced this is the one now. I don't think it's bad. A lot of people think it's good. Schwab thinks it's going to be mid, which is fine. A C in a stock. Most stocks do well, so they're probably projecting 8 to 10% over the next year, which isn't bad. I'm not going to speak for them, but generally stocks go up 8 to 9 to 10% in a year. So if they're slightly below average, somewhere in that range, right? ESG isn't particularly good. They're not great for the environment. Whatever you think of that, it's not surprising. A mining company is not good for the environment. It just is generally destructive, right? They're growing, at least in the sense of last year. The PE, it's not going to just completely fall out from under you unless there's just like a huge drop in price. I guess a lot of the value being tied to a commodity is definitely a risk, right? I think gold is one of the safer ones, but commodities are already just generally riskier, and there's a different inherent level of risk tied with it. Now, that may be something you like. Maybe you are very good at commodities, and that's kind of your niche, that's your thing. Me personally, I do not know commodities well. I know they swing up and down. I know their swings are tied to geopolitical events, and things like that, right? Like obviously, like when Iran and Israel start fighting, oil starts spiking up because they're worried about oil supplies getting hampered and things like that, right? But so my personal opinion, I think it's an okay stock, right? I think it's going to be better when rates drop. I like the dividend on it. I may try to get in a little bit. I may keep an eye on it and try to get it in a little bit of a better price point, although I don't think it's terrible, right? Like, is this going to be the highest the stock ever is? I would be pretty surprised. I would be very surprised, right? It's got a decent. What do they think their mode is? Let's take a peek. None. Economic mode, none. I'm not sure. I'm not well versed enough in this company to actually disagree, although on a scale of 0, 3, 10, I would assume a company that's been around for 30 years and has $35 billion net worth has a little bit more than a 0 or 1 economic moat. So, but honestly, I'm not well versed enough specifically in this one. Some of the companies I go over, I have very in-depth knowledge of them because I've researched them forever. This is one that I'm not as much into. I'm more so looking at it with you guys, kind of almost a live reaction to it. So I think this stock's fine. This isn't one I'm like, oh, I got to start this and come back to this later. I'm definitely going to buy, but it's not a terrible one either. And also just with the fact that tech stocks have retraced a little bit, I'm mostly eyeing that in. But when all tech is super high, it's like, I don't know if I should buy this high. That's when it's start time to look at like REITs and look at companies like that. All those companies, all my REITs and utilities have done so well recently. They've done phenomenal. I'm talking like 20% in like a couple months. So I'm trying to not put money in there. Not that I think those are bad, but tech has just gone down a little bit just because of like recession worries, which seem to be nothing. But anyways, I think I've covered this stock enough. I don't know what you guys think on it. If you like it, that's great. I think it's a fine stock. I don't hate it. I'm not like, oh yeah, I got to get into it. And this isn't one of those tech stocks that has a niche, like super audience for it. So I'm assuming I'm not going to just get hate comments all over on it. But if you did like this video and you learned something about it, consider leaving a like if you made it this far. It really lets YouTube algorithm know that people enjoy my content and like to watch it. So I appreciate all you guys checking me out, and I'll catch you guys next time. See you later.